Welcome to Flekar and Inspire, the place where powerful truths, real emotions, and unforgettable confrontations take center stage. We don't just report the drama, we explore the moments that define it. If you believe in standing for what's right, and speaking up even when it's hard, be sure to subscribe, like, and tap the bell so you never miss a single story that shakes the room. Now let's dive into one of the most explosive live TV moments of 2025, when Denzel Washington stormed off The View after an intense clash with Joy Behar. It was supposed to be a calm Friday morning segment. Denzel Washington had agreed to appear on The View to promote a deeply personal and thought-provoking new film titled Between the Lines. It was a small-budget project with a huge message. The film followed a retired school principal who reopens an abandoned community center in a crime-ridden neighborhood, not for money, not for fame, but to give broken families and forgotten youth one more place to feel human. Denzel wasn't just acting in it, he was also one of the writers and producers. It was a passion project, a story rooted in his own upbringing, his values, his view of the world. Between the Lines was not meant to be flashy, it was meant to be felt. The booking for The View had been made with caution. Denzel's team had specifically requested a respectful conversation, one that focused on the themes of the movie: community, healing, mentorship, and dignity. The producers agreed, or so they said. Friday arrived, the studio was packed, the lights glowing, the music rolling. Viewers at home tuned in expecting the usual mix of hot takes, humor, and headlines. But what they got was something else entirely. The segment began like any other. "Please welcome the incomparable Denzel Washington," Joy Behar announced. Applause erupted. Denzel stepped onto the stage with his signature grace, a calm, measured presence that seemed to slow down the world around him. He wore a dark navy suit, no tie, clean cut and composed. The conversation began with Sunny Hostin asking about Between the Lines. Denzel's eyes lit up. He spoke passionately about the story's origins, about walking past an old community center in his childhood neighborhood that had been boarded up for years, about the quiet pain of forgotten places, about how no one in Hollywood wanted to find a film without a clear hero or a predictable ending. "The truth isn't always neat," he said, "but it's necessary." The audience listened closely. It was quiet, too quiet for Joy Behar's taste. About 8 minutes into the segment, Joy jumped in with her usual flair. Okay, so we've got a heavy film here," she said, chuckling. "Denzel, don't you ever get tired of these serious roles? I mean, when's the last time you had fun on screen?" Denzel smiled politely. "This was fun for me, Joy. It was real." Joy smirked. "But don't you think audiences need to laugh a little? Maybe relax instead of watching something so broken bar, I don't know, intense?" Denzel's expression didn't change. "Joy, we're living in communities that can't afford to relax," he said. "Not everybody gets to escape." Joy tilted her head. "Well, sure, but isn't it a little dramatic to say that a movie can fix that?" The atmosphere shifted. Denzel's voice dropped slightly. "I never said a movie could fix it, but ignoring it, that definitely won't." Joy chuckled, trying to keep the mood light. "Don't get me wrong, I love a good message, but isn't there a point where these stories just become a broken bar, I don't know, political statements more than entertainment?" And just like that, it was no longer an interview, it was a challenge. Denzel leaned forward. "No, Joy, it's not political to care. It's not political to show a child without hope. It's not political to show a mother working 3 jobs while her son slips through the cracks. That's not politics, that's reality." Joy raised her hands. Okay, but sometimes I think people use films like this to push a certain narrative, and it makes everything so divisive." Now it was Denzel's turn to push back. "You know what divides people?" he asked. Silence, shrugging things off, turning real pain into polite banter. Joy didn't back down. "I just think people are tired of being told what to feel." Denzel blinked slowly. "Then maybe they should try listening instead." The studio went still. Even the other co-hosts were unsure what to say. Joy forced a laugh. "Wow, Denzel, didn't know we were signing up for a sermon this morning." Denzel didn't smile. "You invited me to talk about a story I helped create," he said. "You invited me to speak, but what you really wanted was sound bites. You wanted me to smile and sell a product. No, we wanted a conversation. Joy interrupted. "And now you've got one," Denzel replied, his voice low and steady. "And it's making you uncomfortable." Joy looked off camera, clearly unsettled. Producers began to motion nervously from behind the scenes. That's when Denzel stood up. No dramatics, no shouting, just quiet power. He removed his mic, looked at the audience, and spoke one final sentence before walking off. "Some stories aren't meant to make you comfortable. They're meant to wake you up." He turned and exited the stage, leaving the studio in stunned silence. The camera cut to commercial. But by then, the world had already seen everything it needed to see. Within 20 minutes, clips of the moment had flooded social media. Denzel Washington walks out of the view after explosive clash. Joy Behar gets owned live by Denzel. Try listening instead. Hollywood icon drops mic. Refuses to be silenced on live TV. Comment sections blew up. Viewers debated the moment. Some supported Joy's attempt to keep the segment light. Others applauded Denzel's courage to speak his truth. But the overwhelming majority respected one thing: he walked away without losing control. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't insult anyone. He simply refused to stay where his story was being minimized. Later that afternoon, Denzel released a simple statement on his official page. "Greater than I didn't walk off to create a moment. I walked off because the moment stopped honoring the story." Some things are too important to dilute the views. Producers released a vague message the next day. "Greater than we regret that Mr. Washington felt the need to leave during the broadcast. Our goal is always to provide space for meaningful dialogue." But it was too late for PR damage control. The internet had already crowned its verdict. Denzel's calm but powerful exit became a cultural moment. Theaters reported a surge in ticket sales for Between the Lines. Schools and universities reached out to organize community screenings. Local organizations used the film to start conversations about education, crime, and economic inequality. One clip from the interview, "Try listening instead," was turned into a viral soundbite. It appeared in remix videos, street murals, even t-shirts. But Denzel wasn't chasing fame. He went quiet after the incident, refused new interview requests, focused instead on hosting small roundtable discussions in neighborhoods that mirrored the film's setting, places no talk show would cover. The story was never about ego. It was about truth. And when that truth was met with mockery, Denzel didn't argue. He didn't shout. He stood up and left. And that was louder than anything he could have said. If this story resonated with you, and if you believe some truths are too sacred to laugh off, then you're in the right place. Here at Flekar and Inspire, we bring you the real stories behind the noise. The ones that push past the surface. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell to stay connected with powerful moments that matter. Until next time, remember, dignity